I'm Jack Fitzgerald, and I'm honored to be the person that introduces the Vice Chair of the National Transportation Safety Board. But first, I have to brag a little bit. Um, I'm very, very proud of all the people that do these seat checks, that actually do the hands-on seat checks. You know, I was a qualified seat technician once before my arthritis got a hold of my thumbs and I couldn't do it anymore. It's not for the faint of heart to do this work, particularly on a hot day like this. So I'm very grateful to all of those people that I won't even begin to talk about the names. There's so many of them that do this work. We are what amounts to a partnership between county government and the various departments in the county government and private industry. It's a good partnership that's worked very well. And we've done over 47,000 C-checks, either here or in our dealerships. And we were taught by the county government. We were taught by the Consumer Affairs Office, and the Consumer Affairs Office has now moved to Fire and Rescue. So we're very grateful to Fire and Rescue, and we're very grateful to the police department, of course, and we're very grateful to Consumer Affairs for starting it, and for our county government for their efforts. Montgomery County is just always ahead of everybody else. They were doing this in 1999. That's how far back this goes. And our first seat check, every child was at risk. Every single one. There wasn't a single seat that was correct. They were all wrong, including my 450-pound brother-in-law, who had his little giant facing the wrong way. And he had gotten the advice from his pediatrician. So, enough of that. We did start in 1999. We have done 47,000. I got a cheat sheet here. It really does take the media to get people out. Our country is dramatically affected by the media. People listen to radio, they look at television, they're online, and we need help from the media. Actually, the people that with small children need help from the media to learn what they can do to protect their children. So I thank all of you for what you've done in the past, and I hope you will try and do more in the future so that we can do more and more seat checks. Now, it's my honor to introduce the Vice Chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board, Dr. Bella Dinh-Zarr.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald, for that very kind introduction. And thank you to you and Safe Kids and Montgomery County Fire and Rescue and all of your partners here today for the important work you do to educate our community about the importance of keeping our children safe. Good morning, everyone. It is a true pleasure to be here today with all of you. Y buenos días a todos. Es un placer estar aquí con todos ustedes. I speak today not only as the Vice Chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board, but also as a mom. School transportation and back-to-school safety is an important transportation issue for our nation, but it's also a deeply personal and practical issue about how we get to school. The best way to get to school varies from family to family. And really, it also varies even from student to student. But no matter how you get your kids to school, by school bus, walking, by car, by bike, by public transportation, I know that for each of us, each family, and each school, the most important thing is to make sure we get to and from school safely every single day. Recently, Montgomery County launched the Look Out for Each Other campaign, which reminds us that transportation safety is a responsibility that lies with all of us, whether or not we're transporting children personally to school ourselves. But back to school safety is something that we can do personally, and we can also do as a community. Is this a big responsibility? Absolutely. Is this also a responsibility that can help bring us all together as a community and as a nation? I think it is also. So I'm happy to be here today with people and organizations that look out for our community every day. Mr. Jack Fitzgerald and his team, Safe Kids, Safe Routes to School, the Maryland Teen Safe Driving Coalition, the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service, the Montgomery County Police Department, and the Montgomery County Public Schools. No matter what kind of transportation they use, children in our community must be able to get to school as safely as possible. And we, as members of the community, must help make sure that our roads are safe for them. And our speakers today will talk about the different ways students get to and from school and how to do that as safely as possible. As for me, like many of you, I know that soon my husband and I, every day, Monday through Friday, will be taking our son or picking him up from school. And every day, maybe because of the work I do, I'll also be remembering some troubling statistics. We know that road traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for school-aged children in the United States. But what does that mean? Unfortunately, what it means is that every day, 3 children die in traffic and 450 more are injured. It also means that 6 teenagers die as a result of traffic crashes. This translates to thousands and thousands of deaths and injuries to the young people in our communities every day. These are terrible numbers, and each one is a terrible loss to a family and to our communities. And each one of these deaths is tragic, but it's also preventable. As a community and as a nation, we can prevent these deaths. Each time my husband and I walk or bike or take our son to school, to his elementary school, we depend on every driver along the way to watch out for us. And when we get behind the wheel, others depend on us to keep them safe and watch out for them too. So as we start this new school year, students in our communities, we have to remember that the students in our communities need our help. Whether or not we're parents, whether or not we're transporting students, we can help ensure that kids get to school and come home safely. So whether it's in English or in Spanish or in another language, we're all in this together. So let's look out for each other. Somos una comunidad, somos vecinos. Juntos podemos contribuir a una comunidad más segura. So we have wonderful speakers today, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming the following speakers. We have Chief Alan Hind with the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service, Captain Tom Didone with the Montgomery County Police Department, Mr. Leon Langley with the Montgomery County Public Schools, Ms. Naji Kirby with Safe Routes to School and the Montgomery County Department of Transportation, and Mr. Peter Moe with the Maryland Teen Safe Driving Coalition. Please help me welcome them.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Division Chief Hind from Montgomery County Fire Rescue, and it's an honor to be here this morning to support what I consider to be a cornerstone of the Montgomery County Fire Rescue community outreach programs here in our fine county. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to recognize our program manager of this car seat safety program and working with Safe Kids. She works for me in Montgomery County Fire Rescue. It's Miss Emily Crown, and she's right out there. Emily, why don't you just step forward for a second? This very hard-working lady is the subject in the very near future and in the recent past of national awards in this area of child safety, and not only car seats but bicycle helmets and bike safety. And she looks out for the children of our community, and she's absolutely a real stormtrooper when it comes to taking care of our future generations. Emily, thank you so much for your hard work. Good morning, everybody. We are happy to be here today to teach important safety messages to our children as they return to school. Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service has been a leader in educating local families about child passenger safety since the late 1990s. We're proud to have partnered with Jack Fitzgerald at his numerous seat check events for the past 18 years to protect children. Jack is second to none in his steadfast support and commitment to our future generations. Montgomery County is most fortunate to have him as a team leader. In addition to hosting seat check events, he has testified multiple times in support of legislation to improve our seat car laws and legislation in Maryland. Thank you, Jack, for being such a great champion. At your dealership alone, as you stated earlier, almost 50,000 car seat checks have been done, and that's just remarkable. Unintentional injuries are the leading cause of death in children, and road injuries account for the largest percentage of these often preventable deaths in the United States. Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service is the lead agency for Safe Kids Montgomery County. Safe Kids Montgomery County works to reduce all unintentional injuries to children, including pedestrian, wheeled sports injuries, motor vehicle injuries, and of course, promoting fire safety as well. Car seats can reduce the risk of death by 71%. I'll say that again. Car seats can reduce the risk of death by 71%. That's a really good bet if you're going to invest in your children's future to take care of that one issue. But it's very important that you use them properly and you have them installed correctly. Almost 75% of all car seats are not used properly. Residents of Montgomery County are fortunate to have multiple opportunities to have their car seat questions answered and their seats inspected by nationally certified car seat technicians. In addition to the Fitzgerald seat checks each month, the individual appointments made at their multiple dealerships and the fire department schedules appointments 5 times a week to assist families at 3 different inspection stations. Our goal is to always educate parents and caregivers about the safest way to transport their children. We also host outreach events in many communities, organize multiple trainings a year to certify car seat technicians, and serve as the resource for many. A trained car seat technician, this is no small task. 40 hours of very organized training to be certified. It's quite a commitment. And we appreciate all of our volunteer car seat technicians that have made that commitment. Here are the top 10 messages we want you to remember. Always buckle up, every ride, everybody in the vehicle. Children learn by adult examples, so please set a good one. Make certain that the child restraint you are using is appropriate for your child's age, weight, and height. Don't be in any rush to push them to the next size. Always read the instructions for your child restraint and the car seat section of your vehicle owner's manual. Keep children in the back seat until they are 13, or better still, until they're learning to drive. Don't be in a hurry to graduate to that next size. It won't do any good for your child or your family. We want children to ride in the rear facing until the age of 2, as it is 5 times safer than forward facing. Keep loose objects and projectiles in your vehicle to a minimum. Never use non-regulated products with car seats. Car seats are tested for the use only with the items that are sold with them. Make sure the harness straps are snug on your child. You should not be able to pinch up any excess webbing or collarbone when the child is properly restrained in the seat. The chest clip should always be placed at the armpit level. Make sure the car seat does not move more than 1 inch. These last two items are the most common misuses we see: loose harnesses on the child and too loose an installation in the seat. If you have any questions at all about how to properly use your car seat, contact a certified child passenger safety technician or the car seat manufacturer for assistance. In closing, as Emily says, we're saving our children one car seat at a time. Take the opportunity here today to have your car seat inspected. Learn about safe transportation of your children on the school bus and ways you can make walking safe. And please remember, never ever leave a child alone in a vehicle, not even for a minute. Heat stroke has already claimed 27 lives so far this year in the United States. The temperature inside your car can raise by 20 degrees in less than a minute. Thank you all for your time today. Thank you for your attention to this most important subject matter, and have a safe afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, for that great advice. Good morning, everyone. I'm Captain Tom Didone. I'm the director of our traffic division, and I'm our department's traffic safety advocate. It's a real honor to have the opportunity to speak today because this is a really important time of the year. And it's kind of hard to believe that within 10 days, our summer is over and school is going to start. The 29th, they start here in Montgomery County. You know, when we talk about going back to school, we talk about a lot of changes. First and foremost, we know for a fact that traffic is going to get worse. More people are going to be out on the road. What seemingly was a mild traffic summer season is now going to get really congested. People are going to get late. People are going to be rushing back and forth. And this is where it creates a lot of danger. In the past 2 years, during the whole year, we had 17 students that have been hit by cars throughout the school years, in the 2 years. And so when we look at this issue, it's critically to know that we have to go back to our driver's education training. We need to be out there to be defensive drivers. We need to expect the unexpected, and when we see children out there on our paths, we need to drive cautiously. But that's not what happens. People are in a hurry, people are driving distracted, and we're creating very dangerous systems. In Montgomery County, we have approximately 175 schools. And we deploy over 170 crossing guards. And then to assist the crossing guards, we have between 1,500 and 1,700 safety patrols with an annual budget of approximately $5.2 million that we invest in just trying to get our kids to and from school safely. But I'm here to tell you today, it's not enough. There's not enough people involved to keep our kids safe. The reason why is everybody's got a role, everybody's got a responsibility, and everybody has to step up for their role. When we talk about drivers driving down the road, they have to recognize at this time of the year that it is going to be more congested. There's going to be school buses on the road, and we're going to have kids walking to school. What that means is you have to allocate more time for you to get to where you want to go so you can slow down and get there safely. And most importantly, you need to put those cell phones down and not drive distracted on the roadways. And I think everybody who's driven down here today probably looked over left or right sometime during their drive and they saw somebody either texting or talking on their cell phone. And that's completely unacceptable when our kids are out there trying to go to school. It's unacceptable every day, but especially when our kids are out there going to school. Parents, you have to come up with a plan to make sure that your kid's getting there on time and that you walk with your kids if they're in elementary school, unless they're on the school bus. We have far too many parents driving their kids to school. Our schools are not prepared to handle all the vehicular traffic going in and out of the schools. And all those vehicles crossing in front of the school creates more danger for our kids that do walk to the school. So come up with a plan. If you're supposed to ride a school bus, ride the school bus. If you're supposed to walk to school, and it's a good weather day, walk with your kids. Good healthy energy, exercise is outstanding for our kids, but do the right thing. And never walk distracted. I can't tell you how many times we see people crossing the street of all ages, and when you're walking into traffic, which is the biggest danger zone, you shouldn't be focused on the cell phone. You should be looking left, looking right, and looking left again before you cross the street. The basic rule we learned as kids, we need to follow today as adults. Schools. Schools need to communicate messages, get the information out, talk about the safe routes, make sure everybody knows where the safe routes, and if there's a concern, work with the police department and the Department of Transportation to make sure we have a safe route to school. Now, another thing that's coming out that I'm very happy to announce is we have signed a new contract with our vendor to outfit our school buses with safety cameras. Now, for the past 2.5 years, we have had 25 school bus safety cameras on the side of our buses. Of our 1,200 buses, we only had 25 that were protected. And in that 2.5 years, we have had over 4,800 people being issued a citation for passing a stopped school bus. And this is completely unacceptable. As you know, when a school bus stops and displays their stop arm and a red traffic flashing light, everybody must stop. Now, if there's a center median which is raised in a protected zone, then vehicles on the other side of the roadway can proceed. However, if the only thing between you and a bus is paint, then you can't pass that school bus. Paint does not protect our kids, so you have to stop. And unfortunately, in studies that have been conducted, we have over 1,500 people passing our school buses every day, and it's not acceptable. So what are we going to do about this? And over the next 3 years, we are going to outfit every school bus, all 1,200 in our fleet, with a school bus safety camera. So if you pass a school bus, the chances are you're going to get caught. And if you get caught by the school bus safety camera, it will be a $125 fine. However, Montgomery County Police, during the first few weeks of the school, will also be out aggressively enforcing traffic laws. All the things I talked about today, distracted driving, speeding, passing school buses. But when you pass a school bus and the cop catches you, it's $570 and 3 points. Our children are important to us. Every aspect of county government and everybody in our community wants to keep our kids safe. And everybody has a role to do, and the police department will be doing ours. But we really would rather people do the right thing, do their own job, and voluntarily comply with the laws, so my officers come back and tell me that they couldn't write a ticket today because no one passed a school bus, nobody was driving distracted, and everybody respected our speed limit. So in 10 days, traffic is going to get hectic, but we're going to be prepared, and everybody's going to have a plan to keep this as a safe back-to-school season. Thank you for your listening.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Leon Langley. I'm the Assistant Director of School Buses for Montgomery County Public Schools. On behalf of our Director, Todd Watkins, I'd like to thank Mr. Fitzgerald and NTSB for this wonderful opportunity to emphasize school safety. At this time and over the next month, 26 million American children will go back to school and will ride school buses. In the state of Maryland, it's about 640,000. In Montgomery County, it's around 100,000. And on Monday, August 29th, 160,000 children are going to leave their homes and head back to school. Many of them are going to head to their bus stops and then get on this 40-foot-long, 26,000-pound vehicle, which are driven by some of the most highly trained drivers in this country. I know that because I had the pleasure of being president of our State Directors Association and state directors, and I know how our state compares to many other states. But here's what I want to speak to today, two things. One, bus stop safety, and two, on the bus. This is a partnership between school, home, the kids, all the community groups, and our department. Think about what we're asked to do every day on these streets. Get 100,000 students to and from school safely. That is a major responsibility. So first let's talk about bus stops. Here's the partnership. We will provide safe bus stops, but we can't be there. We ask our parents to talk to their children about proper behavior at the bus stop. We ask the kids to be aware. We know this. We are distracted drivers. We know that. I can give you the statistics. In Maryland this year, in the one-day survey administered by the Maryland State Department of Ed, over 4,000 vehicles passed school buses. One day, do the math. Nationally, it's incredible, the number. So we want the kids to realize, for some reason, when that 40-foot long, 26,000-pound vehicle puts on its yellow warning and then it's red, people aren't necessarily paying attention. Think about that. How do you miss that thing? But they do every day. So it's important for the kids to understand to have safe bus stop practices. Now, here's the thing I want to emphasize to all our parents in partnership and the kids. They get on that vehicle. That bus driver now has 40 to 50 children. Are the children allowing the driver to drive? We need a working positive relationship. I want to do an example. I was a school administrator for many years. I was the disciplinarian. And I knew when I took away the privilege, because riding a school bus is a privilege, of a child riding the school bus, it could have a real impact on the family. So I did not do it lightly. And here's an example I would give the parents to understand. Pretend for a second I'm the teacher. I'm working with this student over here, individualizing my instruction. And these folks back here are misbehaving, and they're distracting me from helping that student. How many lives are in danger? Well, if I can get to them, maybe a couple lives are in danger. But none. Now I'm the bus driver. 40-foot long, 26,000-pound vehicle driving 40 miles an hour in heavy traffic with 50 students aboard. And the driver has to constantly be looking in those mirrors or behind them and paying attention because you're out of your seat, you're too loud, you're bothering other students, you're in the aisle. How many lives are in danger at that point? The driver, all the students, and all the other vehicles on the road. That partnership is what we want to emphasize as we begin the school year. Allow our highly trained drivers to do their job. And so all the pieces of this puzzle, all these different agencies working together, will make it what we all want, which is a safe year. And our measurement is clear. On the last day of school next June, every student, whether walking, riding on the bus, or with their parents, made it home safely. And I believe this partnership in Montgomery County is one of the best in the nation. So on behalf of Montgomery County Public Schools, I thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward on Monday, August 29th, over 1,000 school buses will be back on the roads of Montgomery County again, and we will do our very best to make sure that we achieve our goal, which is to get the kids ready to learn when they walk off that bus and walk in that door, because that's what we're all about. So thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Naji Kirby, and I'm the Safe Routes to School Coordinator with the Montgomery County Department of Transportation. There are a few things that you may not know about Safe Routes to School. Perhaps your son or daughter has come home and told you they participated in a bike rodeo or a crosswalk simulation similar to this one, and they brought home an activity book. That was Safe Routes to School. In the city of Tacoma Park, there's a contraflow bike lane that leads to a pedestrian and bicycle path that connects 3 different schools. That was a Safe Routes to School project. You may know a student with a disability that learned to ride their bike by participating in an I Can Shine bike program, which focuses on increasing independence and mobility for students with disabilities. That was Safe Routes to School. If you have seen posters with our local high school student faces with tire tracks in your high school or on the side of some of our ride-on buses, reminding you of the consequences of distracted walking and driving, that was Safe Routes to School. Or perhaps you've just seen brighter crosswalks, new signs around your neighborhood school. That too was part of our Safe Routes to School program. So Safe Routes to School aims to improve safety for students who walk and bike to school. And as you can hear from some of the examples, we do that in a variety of ways, through both engineering, education, but also through enforcement, which Captain Didone talked about earlier. A new school year is an exciting time, and we all know that parents are eager for the routine of the school year to start again, and that our kids are happy to be reunited with all of their friends. And as we want this school year to be a safe one, as we're all getting ready, I ask that you remember a few things. So if you're walking or biking to school, plan your route, and remember that the shortest route is not always the safest route. Walk on the sidewalks. And if you don't have sidewalks in your neighborhood, walk closest to the edge and walk facing traffic. Stop, look left, look right, and look left again before you cross the street. Always use a crosswalk if it's available. And if there is a pedestrian signal, please push the pedestrian signal button. That will allow you to know when it's okay to walk. And pay attention to your crossing guard. They're there to help you, and they're to help you to get across safely. Wear something reflective on your clothes or on your backpack, so in those early morning hours, cars can see you more easily. And if you're biking, or perhaps your child takes a scooter or skateboard to school, make sure that they wear their helmet properly. And put your devices down. Students, put your devices down and keep your heads up. It's imperative that you pay attention to what is going on around you at all times. Parents, walking and biking is a fun and healthy way to spend time with your children while teaching them skills that can serve them well throughout life. So be a walking and biking role model. Children learn through experience. Walk with them and practice crossing real streets and picking safe places to walk. Remind them again that the shortest route is not always the safest route. And if they're biking and riding their skateboards, they should always wear a helmet, and remind them how important it is to protect their brains. And you too, put down your devices, pay attention to the road. As was heard earlier, many collisions are completely preventable if only the driver were paying attention. And please follow the arrival and dismissal procedures at your child's school. One of the biggest concerns we hear from both parents and principals are that parents are not following those procedures and are putting all children, including their lives in danger. So please be patient and obey the parking signs and the no turning signs at your school. So with that being said, we can educate your little ones about walking and biking safety. We can put in new infrastructure, we can do enforcement, but what matters most is that parents reinforce these safety messages at home and set good examples by always practicing safe behaviors. We need everyone to do the right thing, not the quickest thing, not the shortest thing, not the easiest thing, but the right thing. So if we can do that, we hope that everyone will have a safe and successful new school year. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Peter Moe from the Maryland Department of Transportation's Motor Vehicle Administration. And I'm also a father. I raised two sons here in Montgomery County. We all survived. We made all of our trips to and from school. Now they're off to do other things in their life. But unfortunately, every year we have students who are injured and a few that are killed every year in traffic crashes. One of our biggest parts of our mission at the department is to connect customers to life's opportunities. And this is the most important time of year when our most precious resource, our children, is returning to school, gaining access to their future. It's our mission to move towards zero deaths. We want to get to a time when there are no children injured or killed in traffic crashes in Maryland. We have a lot of work to do, but a team like this behind me in Montgomery County is exactly what it takes to move towards zero deaths. Bicycling and walking is an important part of what we do, and MDOT, we're known for building things. Governor Hogan is going to invest $200 million in bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure over the next 6 years. But in addition to what we build, it's also the community of driving, the community of walking, the behaviors that are out on the street. And you've heard all the details of what we have to do to keep our kids safe. But there's one piece that I wanted to add in addition to everything else that you've heard, and that's about our young drivers. At the MVA, we license all those young drivers, and then we hand the keys back over to the parents and the students to travel together. And we're a member of the Maryland Teen Driver Safety Coalition. With the support of the National Safety Council, we're on a mission to help schools and parents and teens work together to make sure that those teens that are driving make it to school and back on every trip. But a little message to parents, for those of you who have children who aren't yet driving, if you think your kids begin to learn to drive in driver's ed, think again. Every time you're in the car with your child, they're learning. It's not a question of if they're learning how to drive with you and from you, it's what are they learning? How are they learning to drive with you? What are you teaching them to do? And so an important part of the message for those younger people, parents, what you do impacts them and their future. They're learning from you on every trip. So please be that model driver. Buckle up. Park the phone. Take it easy. This is a stressful time and people are trying to get to school and get to work and the traffic is changing. Please take the time and just relax. We want everyone to get there safely, and we can do that if we work together. At the MVA, we have a program called the Rookie Driver Program, where we encourage parents to go out and engage with their kids in a discussion about safety and the principles they need to travel to and from school safely. And the important things that you can do with your young driver is to set boundaries. We know a lot about the risks of teen driving, about the risks of adding passengers to a car, the risk of driving in evening hours after sporting events or school activities. These are things that present real risks for students and parents. So please have that conversation with your teen and set boundaries for what is acceptable and what is not acceptable behavior and enforce those boundaries. But the most important thing you can do is exemplify that which you're trying to teach them. Be that model driver. We are initiating new programs with the Teen Driver Safety Coalition that can help schools, teens, and parents. Student learning opportunities for students to teach their peers about safe driving. I have only recently mastered the language of teenager. It's taken me a number of years, but I think I can converse with teens. But it's most effective when they speak to one another. And so the Teen Driver Safety Coalition is focusing on opportunities to get peers to talk to one another about this important message. We're also talking to schools about opportunities to educate teens and parents by having educational requirements to get your parking permit for a school. So if you're traveling to school as a teen driver, we want to make sure that you get there and are educated on what it takes to get there safely. The team that's here today is standing behind all of you as parents. We're standing behind your children. But still, we need you to be leaders in your families and in your communities. All of the advice that you've gotten today is only effective if you live it in your day-to-day life. So please, take a moment, consider how you're getting to school, how your children behave, and how you can interact with them to make sure that they're make it to and from school on every trip. And I hope when we do this event in a future time, Captain Didone can report that this year we didn't have any crashes with students. We didn't have any injuries with students. And that's just not the fact today. We have a lot of work together, and we at the state are so proud of our partnership with the county, who are leaders in Maryland and across the country. And so I want to applaud them for all the work that you've done, and for the chairman, vice chairman, for all of your leadership throughout your career. Appreciate your time and energy today. And to you in the media, this really is important. Getting this message out to parents and drivers and students will help save lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. And thank you again to all of you for coming out today. We also wanted to give a special thanks to the offices of our elected leaders who took the time to show their support. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Ken Reichard from Senator Cardin's office, and also Ms. Catherine Provost from Congressman Van Hollen's office. And thank you to each of our speakers today who provided us such important messages to start off our school year right. With special thanks to Mr. Jack Fitzgerald and his entire team for hosting this event and for hosting child passenger safety seat checks for the past 17 years. Thank you for reminding us that no matter who we are or how we get around, we each have a responsibility to keep each other safe and to keep our children safe. And I appreciate the reminders from the speakers today, and I'll try to remember these facts, these hints, as my son starts his first day of school. First, obey the law. The start of the school year means different traffic patterns, but none of us is so busy that we can't wait for a stopped school bus or yield at a crosswalk or obey the speed limit in a school zone, or even watch the Canada geese right up there. We can all practice our patience just a little bit. And walking to school means paying attention while you walk to school. Use the sidewalks and crosswalks, pay attention, especially in traffic, and no texting or no chasing Pikachus, please. And if you bike, plan your route and always wear a helmet to protect your brain once you get to school. For our teen drivers, your license probably limits the number of teen passengers you can have, but always wear your seatbelt and drive smart. Don't get distracted by passengers, by texting, or anything else. And as you heard today, parents of teens, there are resources for you too, right here in Maryland and also online, such as with the CDC's Parents Are the Key program. These can help you as well. And everyone, always buckle up in every seat, every time, and especially don't forget, as we sometimes do, to buckle up in the back seat. This is one simple action that can save your life. And schools perhaps consider requiring everyone to be belted when driving on or off school property. And as we see at our event here today, kids need age-appropriate safety seats well into their school years. And if you have questions about child passenger safety, Safe Kids and many of our partners here can help you find instruction, just like the event here today. It's free and it's often right here in our own community. Remember, the big yellow school bus is safe. Although not all school buses have seat belts, even without them, school buses are among the safest vehicles on the road. And they're especially safe with your help. And finally, let's all follow the message that started right here in Montgomery County. It's a good message for our nation. Let's remember to look out for each other on our roads. Aprovechen las demostraciones. Espero que tengan un excelente año escolar y recuerden, todos podemos contribuir a una comunidad más segura. So enjoy the demonstrations. I hope you have a wonderful school year. And remember, let's look out for each other every day so that we can all get home safely. Thank you. So we'll take questions. If you could raise your hand and indicate who you'd like to speak to.
You're talking about student management?
I'm talking about cameras on the bus.
That's coming.
Do you want to come here?
Yeah. Of course, like everything, there's a process to that, and that certainly is a key part of assisting, and it's moving in that direction. As these cameras are put on that were mentioned before, as all the buses, that will also include, the companies will also include inside the bus. I can speak to you as a ex-vice principal. Cameras make a difference in terms of maintaining and helping the drivers, because that's a partnership. School administrators play a key role in that, so soon, within a year or two, all the school buses will have the inside cameras. Some do now. I'm only in my second week in the system. I don't know the exact numbers at this point, but I know they're in the process.
Yep, and work with Leon. We've been working with the schools to outfit the school bus cameras. Currently, I think they have a couple hundred that are outfitted inside. But every one of the new school bus camera systems will include 5 cameras inside the bus. They'll also include cameras in the front and the back, just to look out for in case the bus is in a crash or there's some people, standing around the bus that shouldn't be. These cameras from inside the bus will only be able to be monitored by school officials, not police department, although we're working together in this partnership. And the whole purpose of having the cameras inside is to help keep the kids safe. And that's the point. They're able to monitor where the bus will be driving, so they'll be able to track the bus, and they can actually zoom in and communicate with the bus driver while the bus is on the road if there's an emergency situation. So our new camera systems are going to provide safety both inside and outside the bus, and we're going to work together to make sure that it's the state-of-the-art system and a model for the nation.
Thank you again. I'm sure any of our speakers would be happy to take individual interviews later. Thank you again for coming.